Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to our New York session. First, before I go, I want to thank all of you for participating this week. It has been a pleasure being with you guys. I hope you learned something. I hope you really learned something, not only that you made money, but that you learned something new, you learned something interesting. And I will ask you to go at this weekend, spend some time, share those charts as much as you can. You can share them on any given social site you're on, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you are. I will share them all of those places as well. You can follow me in those places and share it again if you want. Right? The more sharing you do, the more likes you get, the more comments you make. The search engine is going to make more impressions to other traders. That's all. Right? Basically, I don't care about the likes and the comments. I don't want them. I mean, we want them for the search engine, but I think you guys like it if you like what I do if you probably come to my webinar. So it's not about it. I'm not waiting for you to tell me how great it is. I just want a comment so that the search engine could do something about it. That's basically the whole point. The second thing, I'm going to give you guys some information because I was looking at the analytics of where my trades are actually getting more views. And I can promise you, none of you here will guess which country is the most, my webinars are the most popular. I couldn't have guessed it. If I didn't look at that, I would never guess that that country is where I get the more views from. Anybody here, just type a country, a wild guess. Where do you think it is? Go ahead, I'll tell you. Somebody write India. No, it's not India. India is number 4. Egypt, no. France, somebody got it. Okay, the third person guessed well, France. It's a French-speaking country. France is the number 1 place where I'm getting more views from. I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? England, the UK is the 2nd, the US is the 3rd, India is the 4th. And after India is South Africa. I was surprised. No, we get views from all over. I'm talking about the majority. I think about the top 50 countries, all the countries are in the top 50 countries. But the largest among Pakistan is somewhere around the 20th or so, maybe. But the largest amount is from France. And I was surprised because before it was the US. The US was always the largest amount of views from, I think. So for some reason, the search engine is not sharing it in the US. It's not sharing it that much in the US. The search engine share it where people are taking more interest, where people participate more likes are coming from, more views are coming from, more shares are coming from. So if you're in the US, please make sure you participate and share it. Right? Russia is way down at the bottom of the list. There are Russians who watch it, but it's way down at the bottom of the list. France is number 1, surprisingly. Well, it's not surprised. UK was always number 2. The US was first. UK is number. The US now is somewhere around number 5 or 6, which surprised me, right? Australia was higher. Australia is a little lower. Not much. Australia is within the top 10, but suddenly I think South Africa came up very strong. I can tell you which other country surprised me, came up very strong. Indonesia. No, Sri Lanka is way down at the bottom. Indonesia came very, very good. I was surprised that a lot of Indonesians look at this. So the top 10, you would get Australia, you would get, I think Singapore is in the top 10 as well. The normal English-speaking countries where we get a lot of people from. So please share it. Make sure if you're in one of these countries, you share it in any group that country is participating in, and people might like it. Especially this week's video, they're educational. So let's go. Thank you for your time and thank you for doing that. Let's go. Let's move on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start with the trades we're in. And anywhere, today's Friday, there's not a lot of trades going to happen, especially with the pullback happening. We can use it as a learning moment. Bangladesh is way down. I think Bangladesh is some reason way down at the bottom. The problem in Bangladesh is not the English speaking. I don't think there's a lot of traders in Bangladesh. Right? It's not, I don't think there's a lot of retail traders from there. That could be the problem. But if you guys share it, you never know. Let's go. So let's start. Dollar index. Dollar index is pulling back. Remember what I told you this morning? 2 things we would likely look for. Let me go through back again. This is an expanding flat, or we're going to get a running flat in the future. I did not like the expanding flat, so I was going more with the intention that we're going to get a running flat in the future, and this is going to drop. So here's the deal. If you believe this is going to drop as a running flat, all you have to do is put a sell order here. So if it drops like this today, that's a good one. What if it doesn't drop? What if that is not a running flat? You totally got it wrong. Well, the chart can always do 3 things. always. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go sideways. It goes down, you get the trade, you manage it, you make profit. It goes up, you're not in the trade. It goes sideways, you're not in the trade. But if it goes sideways, you look for a buy setup, right? So you will close this and you look for, what if it goes up? At some point, it has to do three things. It has to go down back, it has to go sideways, it just can't continue to go up, right? So at some point in this, it will have to go down back or go sideways. It goes sideways, you buy, it goes down back, you wait for a flag and you sell. You follow? It becomes easy. It's not that complicated, but you still have to look at what pattern you're selling into, because if it drops doesn't mean you can sell. If they do this and they go down back, you don't sell immediately because they can be making a correction here, a bigger correction for upside. And you try to sell in the lower time frame, you'll just end up taking losses. So I think it's a running flat. I'll go with the option of the running flat. We spoke about that this morning. Go back, watch the webinar, compare it to what you have, what I said it's likely going to do and what you have, and see if you understand why the trade is valid, right? This is it. Can B wave in running flat could be this strong? Well, this is not actually strong. So let's look at this. Good question, by the way. This is your impulse, and this is your impulse. This is your correction. 1 correction, 2 correction, 3 corrections. Is it strong now? Compared, we're looking at this time frame and these moves, right? This is what you call an extended running flat. Somebody was asking about it. And I told you they can make a few of these flags, but then they're going to pull back strong, look for the sell setup. See, we identified this a long time back. And believe me, this thing is really, really powerful. It works really good. We will try to get the trade at a better spot. If we get a flag earlier, we'll get in earlier. If not, we'll take it from under the low. Let's do all the majors because we have some CAD news coming up in 30 minutes. For my traders who were in the trading room with me, we already set up the CAD. We put all, to make it short, there are a few of them we're not taking, the rest of all sell. So you will have 2 counter trades, right? All CAD pair sell, you'll have 2 counter trades. Let's go. Silver, same here. Same thing, right? I told you be careful of this if you take it because they're going to pull back and they're going to go there. See? Not a magic and not a guess. What are the chances this is going to go up? So when it's going up, I told you be careful, it can pull back sharp. It pulled back sharp. So I'm going to tell you now, if it goes up, I won the trade. I don't know that it's going to go up, but I've seen this pattern so often that if this goes up, I won the trade. What if it doesn't go up? What it can do? Again, there are only 3 things. Since up is for the buy, if it doesn't go up, then it can just come down or it can go sideways. It goes sideways, we sell it, come down, you're not in the trade, just go to sleep, close your computer, go sleep. You don't have to worry about this. Eventually, it's going to make a flag for you to sell. See? But if it goes up, you better take the trade because that is what the analysis tells you. I'm using my analysis, and this is what the analysis said to me. So if it says that and it goes, and I don't take the trade, then something's wrong with me. Right? That's the whole point. You're going for that. Let's see if it goes. So this is a buy. Gold coming back. I would not go into gold buy. I told you this morning, we're not going to go into gold buy. This thing could be weird. It could go back here some more, but then it's going to drop like this. We might end up with a big flat here. We might also end up with a much more complex pattern. I don't think this is a contracting flat. It's possible, but I'm not going with a contracting flat. So even if this goes up, I'm not buying it. I can't really confirm what the full pattern is. Let it consolidate, it will tell us. If they do make a flag here though, if this ends up getting a flag here, I will consider a sell to retest this low. Which means there will be a flag on silver, there will be a flag here, and there will be a flag on a lot of other ones. The yen will have a flag to the upside as well, rather than dropping. Okay, any correction you start to get here would be a sell. Let's go USD, Euro USD. I put that arrow this morning so you would see whether it's going to happen, right? Remember when this break, I said, be careful here now because this can drop like this. Well, it did come down. Would you have got a sell setup if you're paying attention? If my traders were paying attention, you would have got a sell here with a stop here for this move, just to this level. So this would be your trade. So when this drop a little more here, you close the trade. If you're in the trade, put it at break even, and then once this drop, you'll move this stop here. Let me use a different color, yellow. You'll move this stop here if this drop, and if it drop and it pull back and drop, you keep moving that stop until it takes you out, like the yen did, right? So you do that, it's gonna come. When it gets to that level, we'll start to monitor it, because this is what you have in the euro now. This is what we have. So we can do two things. We can assume that all of this is one big, let me take out this, one big expanding flat. Let's go with that assumption that this whole thing is just one big, huge expanding flat from there or from here, wherever you look at it, right? However you want to look at it. It's one big, huge expanding flat, and we're going to drop totally. For that, we need a flag. We need this to start making a flag here to tell us, okay, you can sell this now for that drop. That's one option. The second option is, well, it is not that. This here was your correction. This thing is dropping. That's how it ended the structure. This is the start of your up move. We're making a running flat here now. We're making a running flat here now. You can see the possibility of a running flat formation. And after that, you're going to go up. Well, then all you have to do is put an entry order for a buy. If you're wrong, wait for the flag. There's no sell set up here. Just like there wasn't much of a buy at the top there. Pong? No magic, right? These were this morning. It went a little higher, no problem. If you bought it, you would have to exit it. Now that it went a little higher, if you move this up a little, well, you're expecting it to come to about this level only. And then it's the same thing. We will look for a buy above the top, or we will look for a buy from here going up. In this case, we'd look for a buy from the bottom going up. Could you have sold this? Absolutely. Your sell would have been here with a stop here. As a matter of fact, this morning I said, if they make a very small correction in them, you can sell it for this impulse to come down. Go back, watch the webinar, right? That would have been your sell. All of them have these sharp waves that would have given you a short trade, which you could have closed now and take profit. Call it a day. This one, for that matter of fact, could still drop, which means it could come here, it could go back up there, but it could still drop. This could still be a corrective structure. So I wouldn't be surprised if it does that. You can buy this up if it happens, if you get the upside. If it doesn't make a flag here, you can buy that upside, but when it breaks the top, be careful, it can still drop. We did tag the low, so there's no reason for it to come down back. While we were here and here, we knew we were going to get the low, but we tagged the low already. So there's no reason to go back down, but it can still go. We don't know how low beyond the low they're going to go. So keep an eye on that. Aussie? Aussie went quite a while. We don't have any running flat on the Aussie. So if there's anything that is going to form on the Aussie, it will be a flat of its own here. Or if we get a flag here, we will sell to come and retest this low. So Aussie's open. We'll just have to wait and see what it does. We do not have a running flat on the Aussie. We don't have anything. We just have one impulse down. And this would have been an amazing one to sell. The main reason that you don't have anything, that sell there would have been great. Remember, it was going up this morning, and I said, when they start to come down, you find a small flag, you can go with the sell. That sell would have been great, because that sell, you know, you don't have anything here. That sell could come, and we still haven't broken the low. If there's any one of them that you should have taken for the sell, would have been the Aussie. There are three reasons for that. One is you don't have a low as yet, so the chance of them coming to break the low is very great. Two, you don't have any running flat pattern of anything, so this is the first impulse down. And this is your correct, this is your impulse up. So if you're going to correct this 50%, you can get to this level. See? And three, even if you're wrong about it and it tag you here and go back up there, you can keep a stop right here, but very likely this would start to consolidate here. So you'll get a chance to get out for break even. Even if this is making a flat for upside and you take the trade here, it will consolidate. Not even to this size, smaller than that, but you will get a chance to get it for break even. Those are three very good reasons why this trade should have been a trade you should have taken. Pretty easy, not that difficult. Anybody took that trade just out of curiosity? Anybody took that sell? I told you have to join the group and join us. And then when we get more often, you'll see that all these are trades you can take. New Zealand. Okay, New Zealand broke out, no flag. This would have been a good trade. You would probably get, most of them are break even. This one would probably have given you some profit at that consolidation there. It's coming now, we don't have anything. We don't have any running flat or anything. So we wait for a flag to sell, or we wait for them to go back up, make a flat here and then buy. The flat is a trade for next week. The flag could still probably be a trade today. If you get a flag here, it could still be a trade today. There was a smaller one there, but that's gone on. So no need talking about that. So take this off. US is pulling, the US yen is pulling back pretty quick. You should have closed this for profit. By all means, it's pulling back, but don't worry, they will start to consolidate here. Then we would look for a buy. Now, here's the thing. It could drop like this and make a flag here. We would definitely sell that, because you're going to have one, you're going to make two here. You could go back up there for three, make a flat, and then drop. Knowing the yen, there's going to be a running flat. If this starts to come down for a downside, it will make a running flat. 80% of the yen flats are running flats. So if this starts to come down, you're going to get something like that. If it consolidates to this top here, which means it stay here and consolidate, we'll definitely buy it. I don't know which one it's going to do. You don't need to know. We only have one move, and we are trying to make a forecast. You have a single move, and you're trying to make a forecast. It could do anything right now. Just wait, patience, and you'll get a trade. Let's go. Swiss. So I'll take off all the trades. I'm not leaving them except for the silver. I'm not leaving any trade, and because it's Friday and we don't have anything like this. This is pulling back, but there is no running flat anywhere, right? We don't have any running flat. So wait for a correction. Wait for this to either make a flag here on the drop, so you can trade a small trade back to this level, very small trade within this range. Go back up. I don't know what it's going to do eventually, but we'll get a sell set up. The only way you get a buy is if it stays in this range here and consolidate like this. So it starts to do this. This is going to be about 6 hours. Monday morning, we'll get a buy. One of them is going to come. It's a pity I wouldn't see all of you. I'll see some of you Monday. Those of you who are joining the installment program, you will get to see what we're doing. Right? The rest of you, I hope someday you will join us. There are about 3 people already who have showed their intentions of joining. Not a lot, so I was thinking more of you would, but let's see. The weekend is still there for you to consider it. CAD, let's go. CAD, we're looking for a sell setup in the CAD. We don't have anything as well. So it could probably take a while here, but we have CAD news coming up. So an entry order in the sell is a good idea. It's a really good idea. Make sure you keep the entry at the right spot. At the moment, it is okay, but after this, it might not be okay. If it keeps going down, that entry order will not be okay. So my traders, you'll regulate it accordingly. Here again. It dropped. You should have taken profit somewhere here, or you still can put it to break even and keep it. If you're in now, there's no sense taking profit, put it to break even. If you're not in, good, you close it, you took profit. The entry was here, the stop was here. This is 1-to-1. Why not? That's the start of the move to the downside if it's going. Take that off now. We don't have anything. We'll have to wait. Canadian. We didn't take this. And for the Canadian, okay, take this off. That was a sell on the Canadian. It's not. I was looking at this possible running flat when we were in the trading room, something like this. But it went higher. It could still be an expanding flat. I don't think so. We'll leave it. So we're going back up. Would it be a buy on the Canadian? Could we look for an expanding flat here for the buy? I don't like it. And even if it's a buy, it wouldn't, you will get the CAD sell. So there's no sense in that. You can still use it for the counter trade. I would still use it for the counter trade because the option to the upside is limited. It's better to get a CAD to the downside. Hong Yen. Let's see. We didn't take this trade because all it needed to do was break this low. We're looking for a possible running flat. And then this could go back up one more. So here's the thing about it. Why for regular flat, sorry. We didn't break the top, but we came back so close to the top that when you're so close to the top, you have to be careful. Most times it's just a flat for the continuation. It could also be a reversal. Reversals don't normally go so high the correction. They normally stay within the lower 30% and then drop. Now, once in a while, this would happen. If that happened, you have to break the low and make a flag here. So if this consolidates here, we will sell it. If it goes back up, make a flag here, we'll buy it. Both of them are trade setups. You have to wait for that now. Take this off. New Zealand and the same thing. We thought it would make a running flat here. It's still a running flat. Right now, that is a running flat, right? So if you get a little flag here, you could look for a buy. If it keeps going up, you can only buy above the top. Let's hope we get a flag so you can get a buy. What if it's not a running flat? What if this is actually the top and we're dropping? Then you have to make a flag under the structure. Then we will sell. But this looks like a good running flat. The upside looks possible. So you can look for a buy when you get a flag, take the flag, buy. Aussie yen. We were going with this running flat. We didn't do anything because we assumed they're making this running flat. So that is a buy setup. You can put an entry order above here if you want to buy. An entry order there, because if they break out of this here, they're likely going to go make a new high. You can put each of these as separate corrections as well. Would be okay. So this is a buy setup you can go with. You can put it as an aggressive buy. It's a 15-minute. Once it breaks the top, you have to be careful. Sorry, aggressive buy. That would be this. Swiss yen. Okay. Once this go back to the top, you're supposed to take it out. When we have it was for the bottom here. If it goes back to the top, take off the entry order for the sell. Right? I just explained that because when it goes there, you're thinking flat. If you didn't take it off, close the trade, take the loss. Right? You should have taken it off because what we are thinking when it goes there now is you're thinking flat. You can't let it go back to the top. That would be a flat. That means you're getting one more impulse to the upside. That's a buy setup. So you can put an entry order here for a buy now. You can put it above the top. You can put it here. It's just a few pips difference. Let's go with this. This would be a buy setup, an aggressive buy. Let's go. Euros. If it consolidates here, and it is consolidating already, we'll take the sell. It's a very small one now. I let it make more consolidation and then we take the sell. So we're looking from both sides. We're looking for mostly a sell setup. Euro New Zealand. Sell setup. Be careful though. It could be a short-term one, which means it could just drop here and go back up. We don't have this as yet. This would either go here and then drop, or it would drop here, go back up. So if it drops to the bottom, good. If it drops and it stays here, like it stayed here, close the trade. Euro Swiss. Amazing trade, right? We took this morning and I told you once it breaks this low, you start being careful. Right now, if you're in the trade, you take the profit. This is consolidating, take profit. This is going to go back up and drop. That'll be another flag. So you can take profit out if you didn't close it now, because this is going to make a correction in here. It's going to come down a little more. Maybe you can wait a little more. I wouldn't. There's no need to. It's going to come down a little more here. Then it's going to go back up and then you get another sell setup. So what I'm expecting this to do is maybe do something like this. Come here, go back there, make a flat, drop. See? So I'll take this off. Look for another sell setup. It's Friday afternoon. You might not get that trade. You might get it Monday. EuroCAD, amazing. This is a good trade until you break the low. Only now, if you're negative and you took these trades today, these trades alone would bring you back to positive. All these are trades we called this morning. Go back, watch the webinar. Open the morning webinar, open the afternoon webinar on both sides and compare the trades and the explanation and everything, right? So this is a trade. Worst case now is you can only get break even. I would put it to break even. I'd put it to break. It's CAD news, right? We have CAD news. All right, this is the CAD news doing that. Before the CAD news, close the trade. If you're in any trade on the CAD before the CAD news, you should close all. I said this for Monday. I told you on Tuesday. I told you every time we have a news, I told you before the news, close the trade. Take the profit here and hope that it breaks the low. Now we have a contracting flat here. This is the buy setup. So EuroCAD was the only one we didn't take. This would be a buy setup if this goes up. It could still drop, but this one you should have closed the trade. Don't keep it. All right, close the trade. It means CAD just went up a little more. This could still come here. I don't think they're good. I think they'll still come here and then go back up. Right? But we were selling for when it's going to break this low. So that's a good trade. Let's go take that off. It's CAD news, which means all the CAD pairs move. Somewhat, not much. Euro pound, nothing. Pound Swiss. If you took this sell, well done. You should have got worst case break even. So if you enter here, I think that's where we enter. It dropped there. You don't close on the first pullback if you didn't close here. Now you close the trade and wait for it to go back up, then put an entry here. So on the first move, we don't close it, right, by rule. Then you wait for it to come down back, either correction or drop, right? One of the two is going to happen, and then you decide. So this is over. What else? Let's go. Punkat, anything? We didn't do this. We were looking for an entry here, but I was not there. But if you put an entry here, you did well. Pound New Zealand. Okay, so this is going down. It's going to go down, but it's going down really, really slow. So you can take the entry, and let's hope by the grace of God, it dropped very sharp today. Otherwise, it's going to go slow again. We took it from here, we closed it. We took it from here, we closed it. We didn't take this one this morning, but we're taking this one now. We're out of the structure. See, they're out of that whole structure, so this is it. Let's hope that it drops now. We want one sharp drop way to the bottom here. So what you want this to do now is you want this to do this, drop here. And let's hope we can get that today. 1 second, guys, give me 1 second. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I had to take the call. Yep, part of working at home. So, yep. So watch this. This could drop through the bottom. That's a good trade. Take the trade. If it goes slow, which means if it does what it did here, which means it drops here and it starts to consolidate again, just close the trade. Right? That is possible because going down really, really slow. The hope is that it's going to drop. Okay, this one, if you're still in the sell, and you probably still should be, right? By moving your stops, just moving stops, moving stops, moving stops, moving stop. Your stop should be there now. So this was the trade originally. It went up, it dropped. I told you keep it, keep your stop here, don't move it. It has to come back, retest this low. It actually made a flag. You would close your trade, enter there, and now this is your trade going. If you want to close the trade in here, the rule is you should not supposed to close it. Right, my traders figure out what I'm saying. And if it drops and it drops, if it stays here longer, close the trade. Now this would still probably go back up. I still think we'd look at this most likely as a 1, 2, 3, and then drop. So we could get a bigger flat forming here. This correction is telling me there's a likelihood of them going back up. We'll see that Monday. If it makes another flag, we'll sell. So this is another trade. If you took yesterday, you made profit. If you took it this morning here, you made profit. It can get better than that, right? Aussie, New Zealand, nothing. Stay away from it. It's making a flag here. You can buy to break that up. Aussie CAD, we had both ways possible. So now we're going to know. Let it make a flag here, and then we'll buy. It's not dropping. It's most likely going to make a flag. Aussie Swiss, not even the sell setup. Leave it alone. New Zealand CAD. So this one is an interesting one. Remember what I told you this morning? We wanted to break the top one. You're taking this one to come and break this top and then drop. Magic, right? So we looked at this pattern, and by the way we looked at pattern is they have to break that top, and when they break the top, they're going to drop. Try guessing 2 directions and getting both correct, right? Try guessing that it has to do this and then come back here and watch it does exactly that. This is not a guesswork. Got it there. It went a little more, so you got a little more profit. You should have closed it somewhere in here. That is the closing. The correction is the closing. Do we have a sell setup? Not really. You could have sold it here, but that's a far stretch. You have to have an experience to do that. So now we're expecting it to break out. Well, give us a correction here. Let's see if we get, it's pulling back, right? It has a cat in it, so that's okay. Let's see if we get a correction here. If we get a correction here, we'd look for the drop, right? Can it correct? Can we still stay in this structure? Right, here's another option. Can it still stay in this structure? Well, if you make a flat like this in the middle there, if you come back here and you do this and you go back there and we get this, we're coming back here and then we're going to go back there and then we're going to drop. See? It's not that difficult. You have one, or you can take it from here probably. I think you can see whichever is it. Take it from here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go back to the top there. So it all depends on whether we get another flat like this here. then we go back up, and then we drop. So you got a lot of good trades to deal with. I'll leave it like that for now. It looks like we're going to make a big flat. See that pullback? We're getting a sharp pullback here. New Zealand Swiss. If you sold this, you could probably take and break even. I would say you got break even out of it, right? So if you sold it here, you closed it here. That's a break even trade. You wouldn't get a second chance at it. Remember, we knew it was going to go back up because we said this would make 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we've got a flat. Your sell should have been here. Your stop has to be here. So this trade go back up, drop. It's probably going to pull back up and drop again, because this might give you some kind of a smaller running flat there. I don't think we're going to use these. It's possible we're looking at that possibility that this could be, this one is over here, right? But this one here could be 1, 2, 3. This could be 1, 2, 3, and you get something like this. That is a possibility. Wait for a flag and sell it. If it makes a flag, sell it. This could be, well, this is not a running flat. These are smaller corrections of their own if possible, because I don't think this one belongs to this anymore. That would be something more like this, which is a little far stretch. I think this one is closer because this one is very close to the bottom, so you can make an argument for that. Let's go. Cat Swiss. Yep, the running flat did work. So you can put it like this. And depending on how you look at this piece here, we could get one more up, or we could be dropping. A sell under the low is a good idea. Remember, we sold this from here also, right? Which would have closed somewhere in here. If we kept it breaking, you'd close it somewhere here. And we sold this as well, so that was the drop for this. Now we're waiting for this to go back up and sell. So sell setup again. Natural gas. We're looking for a sell setup here. This piece is going up quite a lot, so if you want to get aggressive, you can get aggressive on this piece coming down. By the time it get back to this low, you can get it to positive already. Right? I'll take these out. There was a small flag here that finished. So take that out. We're looking at this bigger piece. US oil. Yep, I think we can move the sell setup up a bit. If you consolidate above this, above here, like if this makes a consolidation, you want to buy it, might be worth going for the try. I don't think we look at these two. Maybe it's a smaller one. We'll see. This could be the low as well. But I would wait for a 1 hour flag, not a small one like that. I'd wait for a 1 hour flag. So it has to make a 1 hour flag here. And if you get a 1 hour flag, take the trade for one more impulse. It could do this, and then that would be a good running flat for the upside. That possibility exists. So if it makes a big flag, then you go for it. And the smaller flag, I think, no, we wait. I wouldn't put this entry order higher than this as yet, because it can pull back here and then go one more. So we'll wait. UK oil is the same thing, same setup, same structure. I wouldn't put it here. This is almost a 1 hour flag. So if you want to put an entry order for a buy here, short-term trade is worth it. Well, at least for one more impulse. So I'll take these out. We're waiting for that. S&P 500. I wouldn't go with the buy until we actually have a bigger correction. Until it makes a bigger correction like this, then I'll consider the buy. Right now, this can just break the top and drop. A sell entry here is not a bad idea. A sell under this low is not a bad idea. I'll put all of them like that. A sell here is not a bad idea. If you're waiting for anything, wait for this to make a deeper correction and a corrective structure. So you wait for this to literally do something like this, and then you buy. Don't buy this at the top there. And the same here. I'll put it as a sell now. Sell, take this out with the entry order under this low. If I'm gonna buy it, I need a bigger flag than that. And the same for all of them. DAX doesn't have anything. Nifty, you should be waiting for this to drop, make a flag, and then go one more down. If it makes a flag here at the top, you keep buying. Bitcoin, still going. So we'll put a line where we think it could turn, where if you're in the trade where you have to be careful, right? So if you're in this trade and it's just an expanding flat, all you need is something like this, right? If it is just an expanding flat, So you can get something like that and then it can drop. It could also break the stop and then drop. We could put it to break the top and then drop. If it is 1, 2, 3 for downside, if this is an expanding flat to totally take off, it's just going to continue to go. So all you would have to do is every time you get a correction like this, move your stops there and buy. You get a correction, move your stop and buy. Pretty easy. If you see a turning coming, get the hell out of it. I don't think we'll do all of them. These two are the ones we do. Going through all of them, that would be useless. So, okay, guys, that's great, right? We almost did a whole webinar there. Let's go. Anything you guys want to look at? Any questions, anything specific you want me to look at? We can do that. Yen is coming down back. Let's see how fast it comes. That would depend. Like I said, you don't have to panic. Dollar yen, yeah. You don't have to panic when you're there. Let's see what it's doing. See, it's coming down back. So, and it's coming fast. So you don't have to worry about it as yet. If it keeps going fast, good for us. We'll have a much bigger flat somewhere in the future. Like I said, if you're in the trade, you still don't worry, you're going to get break even. Let this move stop. Let it consolidate. Let's see where it consolidates. Let's see how it consolidates. That's when you close your trade. Wait for the flag, sell it. Because it's going to be a running flat in the future for downside. Any questions, anything now? So we can take some questions and we can go. There was a question there. Could be wave in a run? We answered that already. Sir, you're making lines on chart for buy above or sell below those lines. No, those lines are always not buy and sell. Sometimes they're top and bottoms. You would know when they're buy and sell, I'll tell you. Here you would want to know. This is an old trade. You've been in every single webinar. We're talking, this was the sell of this one to go down. So you would have had to move your stop, get out of that trade. I left it because one of the traders is still stuck in it. So we said, don't worry about it. Wait for it to start to pull back to close. Now it's pulling back really fast, so you don't have to close the trade in that sense. But what you can do is wait for this to finish and then put it to break even. So you can't lose on the trade. But if a number of possibilities here, if this is the first impulse of a bigger correction, it's going to come down some more, make a flag. You will definitely close your trade. You'll sell this because it could be a running flat. It's going to come here, go back up. It could make a number of this. It could make a number of this, go back up, make a running flat and drop. That would be a sell. It could be you're wrong about that and this one starts to do this. You're going to close your trade for break even. It's going to come back here. You're going to get this one and then you look for a buy. I can give you 10 more different options of how this can develop. Those are the two simplest for you to start with, right? So don't worry about it. That line has nothing to do with what it's doing now. What should be done after? No, those lines don't pay significant. The line itself is just an entry point, right? Just to put something there. You can put anything. You don't have to put a line. I just put the line. Don't focus too much on the line. The line is not going to do magic for you. Focus on patterns. The line is where I was just showing for everybody. I use those lines for everything, for entry points, for where you put your stops, for tops and bottoms. It's all about patterns, not the lines. Don't obsess about the lines. Forget about it. Let's go. Next question. Lines on your charts are always insignificant because they're useless. Lines on my charts are useless. The idea of the lines is just to visualize what we're doing. I can trade without those lines, but then you wouldn't know what I am doing. So I draw those lines for visual so my traders could see what I see, right? So that they can, and you should draw it so that you remember what you were looking at the last time. Okay, every time you come in the chart, you'll have to study the whole chart if you don't have the lines. Now I have the lines on one glance, I can see what I'm doing. That's the whole point. It's not about what the chart is going to stop or where it's going to not stop or all of that, right? Focus only on the patterns. Lines is just for your visual. Anything else? Any other questions? Let's go. I think after a week, you guys are tired. You have all your questions answered. So anything else? So today alone, we had a number of very, very good trades. You saw them all. Go back, watch all the webinars. Even if you've been here live and you've seen them, watch them again. There's a lot you're going to learn in them. And then share it with someone. For Ethereum, is the regular flat. Let's see Ethereum. What is the regular flat there? Let's go. Is the regular flat for downside in 1 hour time frame? Let's see, 1 hour time frame. Oh, you're talking about this big one? Well, we don't know that. Here's what you have. You have this. Most often that is for downside. The flatness of it is 1, 2, 3. This is mostly for downside, right? I think it's downside. This is your impulse coming, right? This is a smaller version of the same thing. I think it's mostly downside. Is there a part of it that could be for upside? I don't see that, not in this chart. Even if this goes up a little more, I still think if it has to come all the way to the top here, then we can come down here, get this, and that would be upside. You follow? But if it starts to drop from here, we're going down and we might likely break this low. Make sense? You're welcome. That's how wave analysis works. You have to analyze what you have, what it could possibly do, and if it does that, what is going to be the next action you're going to take. Anything else? Okay, if no more questions, I think we could call it a day, because sitting here watching the charts would not help a lot. You're showing trade entry levels and charts. Should we wait for consolidation after breaking those levels? Okay. No. You shouldn't take any trade. You should not take any trade you think I'm showing. Because you're missing my point. You keep asking the same question in a different way 10 times. Right? You need to study. I can tell you, okay, don't take this personal. It's not about you. Anybody who would ask, I've been following all the questions you're asking. Anybody who's asking that set of questions, you still have a very low knowledge of patterns. Nothing is wrong with that. You need to learn it, that's all. You haven't learned patterns as well. So you need to learn all the patterns. Learn all, go back, look at all my webinars, take notes, do whatever you have to do, but learn the patterns. Now, I don't think you'll get everything there because you will have no one to correct you if you're doing it wrong. If you join us, you can probably get that help, right? But the questions you're asking are based on the fact that you don't understand the patterns, right? If you understand patterns, then that question goes away. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Remember, you did. I know you've been very active, and that is very good. I'm very, But remember, even when you're sending me your charts, I keep telling you that's not how we look at the patterns. We looked at them differently. It means you have got to start throw away what you learn on Elliott Wave or whatever you learn there, and relook at how we look at it. If you look at all my webinars, especially the ones where I do like the weekly this, you probably will start to get an idea. It's pretty simple. It's not that difficult. Now, would you be able to trade them if you know them? Not that easy. That is even worse than knowing them, right? Because the trading has a strategy, management, and all of that that you have to learn from somebody. As long as you watch your webinar, it seems trading is easy, but understanding. I keep telling you that this is exactly the point everybody should know. As long as we watch your webinars, it seems trading is easy, but understanding how and which side correction will end is most difficult task. Exactly. That's the point. And the reason you don't know that is because you don't know patterns. Let's take the question the guy just asked me. And it was an Ethereum, right? Right on this one. The question is, he's asking me, is this a pattern for downside? And my answer is at this point, yes, this is a pattern for downside. That is a flat for downside. And then immediately I say to him, but you have to be careful. Because if this goes back to the top here, which means if you get a flag here, I will buy it. If it goes here, make a flag, I'll buy it. Now, I would buy those flags knowing the limitations of them, understanding what I'm looking for. You don't know what I'm looking for. I'm not telling you this is going here. What I'm telling you is that this is the impulse down, right? And if this keeps going up, there's a possibility it will come to this top. There's a possibility to break the top. But even if it comes here or it comes here, it comes here, you know what is coming next. I know what is coming next. So any trade that I take within that level, I know how to manage it because I know the limitations. I know I'm going to get a move back down here. I will also be looking for any sells for this move. And after that, now it has become an upside. So if he just took what I tell him from where he asked me from this point, that looks downside. And he said, and this thing goes up here with next week and then come back here and go, he's going to say, oh my God, he got it wrong. I don't know what he's talking about, his wave analysis nonsense. He said it's going to go down and look, this thing is going up. But it's the change of the structure. It's what you're looking at any given time in any given patterns. And that is why it confuses you, right? When I do it, it looks easy. Let me give you the best analogy you can look at that. Have you ever seen a neurosurgeon do an operation? Any one of you, have you ever seen a doctor that does an operation? I did. I can make that analogy because I did. I was in first, second, third, fourth course when I looked at medical school when I saw doctors do operation. We were in the theater when they were doing the operation. The most impressive thing was the neurosurgeon when I see that he took out a tumor out of the brain. The patient survived. The patient was talking, everything. The patient recovered almost, if you can say 100%. I don't think it's 100, but you can say that. The patient was a normal person after the operation because we follow up. We were there. That was impressive. That left an impression in me. Oh my God, this guy spent only about an hour and does this thing. And that's like one of the most difficult operations you're going to find. Getting into the brain and taking out a tumor without killing the patient or making the patient an invalid. One slip and that patient is either dead or an invalid, or you will destroy some function. Now, if you look at that, all you see is the guy taking a scalpel, getting in there, cutting out something, and then bingo. That's a pretty easy thing to do. All of us can cut. You would look at that, hey, I could do that. That seems easy to do, right? It's the same thing you looking at me doing wave analysis for you. It looks easy. I make it look easy because the charts are prepared already. Now, if I take everything out, so we'll just take out everything, remove it all in, sorry, not the indicators, remove all drawings, we'll put back our indicator. We'll have to, I hope that's not removed from all my charts. It's removed from all the charts. I'll add it back. Don't worry. I'll add that back later. We'll click indicator and we'll go find my full magnifier. Good. Go back on. Right. That's it. So if I take everything out from this and I just put it in a different time frame and tell you, okay, tell me what you think the chart is doing. Although I showed you everything just now, you will be one hell confused thinking, right? Because you're going to look at this chart now, you're going to like, well, I don't know what the hell it's doing. It's looking like it's going crazy to me, right? This chart looks really crazy. It's going up, it's coming down, it's going up, it's coming down, it's going up. I don't know what this is going to do. You can't redo what I just did if I take the charts out and 1 hour after I give you the same charts. Because for you to do that, you have to understand patterns very, very clearly. It's the same thing with the surgeon. For you to make that operation, you have to know so much. You've got this long, career of doing operations and practicing and learning and all of that stuff. You got a message, basically. So when I do it, it's easy. That's what we train you to do. That's why when I train my traders, I train them to follow the way I do so that they can do it and it will be easy for them. See? It doesn't make a lot of sense right now, right? Put it back on the 1 hour and put it like this and figure out what you have to do now. Immediately, it's confusing, right? It's not as clear as it was just now. Put it in the 15 and then it becomes even more confusing. That's the difficult. So watching me do it here is not how you're going to learn. We all watch football. I don't think all of us can play it that good. Some of us like me can't even play it. I can't even kick the ball properly. So that's a good way to end the webinar. So you guys can learn. Go watch all the webinars again and share them and learn from them. You'll get some things. At least you'll save your account. You wouldn't lose your account. That's the #1 goal. So, okay, guys, thank you very much. If you'd like to join us, send me a Skype message and I'll give you all the details. You're welcome. So have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy yourself. Remember, trading is not all. Life is more important. Family is more important. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see all of you on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye. We still have the weekly outlook to do. Have a great weekend. Bye.